Coffee has been fueling our caffeine-craving bodies since before even the 15th century. To this day, coffee has constantly evolved and changed into new types of fascinating and stimulating mixtures of caffeinated bliss. Largely evolving from a base of espresso, we have received such drinks as the cappuccino, the latte, and the americano. Altogether, there is at least over 40 types of coffee, and the numbers continue to rise. Out of all the main types of coffee, I will be focusing on 7 of the most popular types of coffee, which are ordinary brewed coffee, espresso, cappuccino, americano, cafe latte, Turkish coffee, and the cafe macchiato. Brewed coffee is the most popular because it is one of the cheapest and most simple to make types of coffee, coming straight from a drip coffee maker and into your mug in about 5 minutes or less. Espresso coffee, the creation of which is often attributed to Angelo Moriando in the year 1884, comes from the Italian word espresso, which translates to express. And that's exactly what an espresso does. It puts you right on the caffeine express. Containing much more caffeine than ordinary brewed coffee, and also a more concentrated flavor, a thicker body, and a higher concentration of suspended and dissolved solids, thanks to boiling water under pressure through very finely ground coffee beans. Espresso is the base of many other coffee concoctions, but is even delicious on its own, and what I'm drinking to help me bring this speech to you. Like espressos, the cappuccino is another popular Italian type of coffee, especially in Italy, of course. It was pretty much created for people who like cream in their coffee using double espresso, hot milk, and hot steam milk foam, and continues to grow in popularity thanks to its smooth taste and evolution of artful presentation. The cappuccino gets its name from the color of the distinctive set of garments worn by Capuchin friars, who are of an order within the Catholic Church, specifically when the beverage contains milk. The 4th type of coffee to discuss is named Cafe Americano, which is also known as simply Americano, or just American coffee. American coffee is basically an espresso with a small amount of hot water to dilute the amount of caffeine for those who aren't looking for such a jolt while maintaining most of the flavor of a full-bodied espresso, or even the drip coffee that comes from our drip coffee makers. Creating an Americano has a very particular order of operations. If you add water to an espresso, then you've successfully made a great-smelling Cafe Americano. But if you add espresso to water instead, then you've created what is called a long black, which retains the crema, which is the foam that usually appears at the top of an espresso, and is more strongly flavored because it's less voluminous. Moving on to the cafe latte, which is one of my wife's favorites, is a very smooth and delicious cup of joe, depending on the coffee used. This coffee is slightly more complex than the others, as it consists of 1/3 espresso, 2/3 hot or steamed milk, and approximately 1 centimeter of luscious foam. Cafe lattes are similar to cappuccinos thanks to their shared use of steamed or hot milk and ability to create artful images within the foam. The difference between these two coffees, though, comes from the amount of milk used in both. The latte contains more than a cappuccino. A cappuccino is equal parts espresso, milk, and milk foam. A cappuccino is also traditionally served within glass as opposed to the porcelain that lattes are served in. And places of origin differ within the latte being established in America, unlike the Italian cappuccino. Turkish coffee is another popular type of coffee and has a name that actually has nothing to do with where the beans are from or how they're processed. Partly because its place of origin is unknown, but is believed to be Ethiopia. Instead, it comes from how the drink is prepared. Roasted and then finely ground coffee beans are boiled in a special pot known as a jezva, commonly with sugar, which helps this very strong and bitter coffee become rather delightful, and then poured into serving cups. The grounds are allowed to settle in the cups, but you're not meant to drink them. Instead, when you finish your coffee and all that's left is the grounds, they can be used to tell your future. Turkish coffee isn't hugely popular in the US, but it is extremely popular in the Middle East, the Caucasus, North Africa, Bailey, the Balkans, and various other locations throughout Eastern Europe. Finally, the last stop on the Caffeine Express is another type of coffee that is a twist on the espresso called Cafe Macchiato. The espresso used for the concoction is served with a small drop of milk. The milk that's added today is usually foamed first. Macchiato is the Italian word for spotted or stained, therefore literally translated, Cafe Macchiato is coffee with a spot of milk, or stained coffee. Based on the drinker's preference, the macchiato can be served hot or cold, and contains a lot of milk, providing a thick and flavorful experience. Coffee will continue to grow, fuel our lives going Coffee will continue to grow and fuel our lives going forward. There are many other types of coffee to be covered, from the simple iced coffee to the doppio. If you're like me, then throughout this speech you've had to control your urge to grab a fresh brew yourself. So go ahead, grab yourself whatever form of coffee that speaks to you. Thank you.